Let's build a Savi's Workshop lightsaber. So Savi's Workshop is the build your own lightsaber experience at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland and Disney World. So first let's go over the parts that we're going to need. Here's the chassis. This is kind of the frame for the lightsaber. We'll also need a kyber crystal, 2 activation plates, and one of the plates needs to have an activation switch on it like this. Now we have 2 grip sections, a pommel, an emitter piece, and then finally the blade. So let's get started. We'll start with the chassis. So the chassis is very much made of plastic. It has this place in the middle for the kyber crystal to go. So our first step is to actually put the kyber crystal in here, and you just kind of slide it in. Sometimes it's a little tricky at first. Oops. There we go. So kind of the points on either end should kind of nest inside the crystal chamber there. And then you heard there's this neat activation sound when it is installed. So next up, we'll take the activation plates and attach those. So this system is color coded. So this activation plate here, it has a blue little mark on this side, and so I'm going to match that up to the blue mark on the chassis, and it just snaps into place pretty easily. And then here, this other activation plate, it has a red kind of painted section here, and that will match up to this other red section here. So it's very user-friendly, and you know, these guides kind of help make it easy to put this all together. All right, next up, we're going to take the grip pieces. Now, these are 2 grip pieces, and I could put them either here or below. So they'll go on either side of the activation plates, but they're interchangeable. So I guess I'm going to pick this one for the top of the hilt. And there's a threaded end, and that end is a bit wider. So the wider end and the threaded end will point to the center of the hilt. And you want to screw that in pretty good, because that will help keep these activation plates kind of secured. So I'll put the other grip section down there. Tighten those up a bit. It's looking pretty good so far. Now I'm going to, well, I'll go to the pommel, I guess. Here's the pommel. So the pommel has some threading there as well. So we want to tighten that up pretty well. Good. Now we have the emitter piece, which also has some threading. Okay, and then we just want to make sure all of these pieces are, you know, tightened up pretty well. That's definitely one of the last things we want to do. And we can actually, you know, we can actually test the saber early. So see, if I try to turn the hilt on without the blade, it creates this misfire type of sound. So that's kind of a neat touch. And finally, here's the blade. So how the blade works is there are kind of these 2 metal pieces on either end. One is smaller, one's larger. And there's a slot for each of them to slide in. So the larger piece aligns here, and the smaller piece aligns on the other side. So I just slide that in and then give it a twist. And here's our lightsaber fully assembled. And now I can turn it on. It activates. We can do some lightsaber-y things and turn it off again. So that's just kind of a quick step-by-step build of the Savi's Workshop lightsaber, which is this kind of modular system developed by Disney.